Along the Red Sea sits a looming figure, on the shores of the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah. On the north side of this bustling city, you'll find holiday resort sparsely built homes, and large patches of sand. You'll also find a construction project unlike any other, one that has been put on hold since 2018. Since then, this planned tallest structure on Earth has been sitting abandoned in the hot Arabian desert. We're going to take a look at how this world record-breaking tower failed so spectacularly, and even to this day, has an uncertain future. This is the Jeddah Tower, formerly known as the Kingdom Tower. Saudi Arabia, much like the United Arab Emirates, is also trying to diversify their nation's economy away from oil extraction, along with trying to attract companies from around the world to invest here. Tourism was another huge focus for the nation. Dubai had already stunned the world with the Burj Khalifa, the tallest structure in history. Saudi Arabia wanted the same treatment, and began crafting plans to show off their own form of ostentatious wealth. With the Burj Khalifa well underway, the Saudi-backed Kingdom Holding Company began dreaming up what their own vision of Dubai could look like in Saudi Arabia. They selected a plot of land in the city of Jeddah, over 5 square kilometers, or 1,300 acres in size, all to build what they called the Jeddah Economic City. This master-planned city would encompass everything from a luxury shopping district with its own themed town to commercial areas for companies around the world to conduct their business. A super mall, green space, and water features would all accentuate this planned thriving community, made up of 80,000 full-time residents. Of course, the most striking proponent to this plan would be the Kingdom Tower, the crown jewel and the ultimate pride of Saudi Arabia. While exact numbers were never publicly disclosed, the Kingdom Tower was anticipated to scale 167 floors and exceed heights of 1,000 meters, or 3,300 feet. For comparison, the Freedom Tower in New York City stands 1,770 feet tall, while the current world record-holding structure, the Burj Khalifa, reaches 2,700 feet into the sky. Kingdom Tower was set to shatter that record, and within its sleek design, it would feature a Four Seasons hotel, and residents ample room for commercial office space, and of course lots of room to cater to tours, which were anticipated to flock to see this awe-inspiring tower. On the 157th floor, the developers originally proposed a helicopter pad, the only break in the tower's sleek tapering design. This was later scrapped due to safety concerns at that height, but the cantilevered edge remained on the drawing board. Now was the world's tallest observation deck, called the Sky Terrace. Kingdom Holdings hired famed architect Adrian Smith, the same man who designed the Burj Khalifa, with soil tests already underway in 2008. The developers claimed that the total investment, with Jeddah Economic City and the Kingdom Tower, would cost over $20 billion when it was all said and done, adjusted for inflation, though you can throw another $7 billion on top of that. The project would of course come in phases, with the first including the skyscraper opening in 2016. This was also being planned during the economic crisis, which right from the start was slowing everything down. But as the world slowly dug itself out, Kingdom Holdings began securing investors, consultants, and locking down construction partners, able to take on this massive engineering project. Things were looking promising for the building, and while the company anticipated a 2011 groundbreaking, it wouldn't be until April 2013 when foundation work actually began on the Kingdom Tower. A new completion date was now set for 2018, as the building began to go vertical in September 2014. Now the actual engineering of the skyscraper is quite impressive. By 2015, progress continued to be made floor by floor. It was making good momentum, and starting to take form into its Y-shaped floor plan. By this time, the tower also had its name changed from the Kingdom Tower to the Jeddah Tower, which was thought to give it more association with the city it was being built. By November of that year, finance team had been secured to finish the tower, and everything was moving forward just as planned. That was until 2017, when the problems began. Saudi Arabia embarked on a pretty large government-funded anti-corruption purge, which ended up with almost 400 people being apprehended. One of those people was Prince Al Walid, who was the CEO of the Kingdom Holding Company. But the scandal began to slow things down for the project, since on top of his arrest, there were also key financial backers that were also caught up in the purge. Jeddah Tower now had new executives watching over the construction, and the CEO of the other stakeholder position of the project stated he would expect the tower to open sometime in around 2020. By late 2017, the tower had surpassed 60 floors and a height of 248 meters, but then everything just stopped. The tower saw a very slow progress through early 2018 and was suddenly halted altogether by one of the building's stakeholders, JEC, or the Jeddah Economic Company, due to the corruption purged the year prior, and many of the backers and their money getting tangled up in it. The JEC pumped the brakes on construction, allegedly due to labor issues with their primary contractors. However, no official statement had been made regarding the labor issues claim. Regardless, this essentially ground the entire project to a halt, and this is how the Jeddah Tower would sit for years to come, climbing around 900 feet into the sky, with a few bottom floors covered with glass. This very promising, well-funded tallest tower in the world was now left a quarter finished and abandoned. By 2020, updated reports were hard to come by, and there was no conclusive official word if the project would resume. Of course, 2020 was also the beginning of a worldwide shutdown due to the pandemic that slowed supply chains and project financing. Jeddah Tower was likely in the same position, and it wouldn't be until early 2021 when movement would actually be made. Jay-Z proudly announced they had resumed small groundwork around the tower, completing a few kilometers of road and landscaping infrastructure, but still no word on the tower. This was all for, in fact, come to think of it, there hadn't been any word on the city itself for years. While Jeddah Tower was being built, the surrounding area was just a flat, undeveloped desert. Most of these companies developing the tower and the city are private, and Saudi Arabia doesn't have the best track record with sharing information. Why this project is sat here like this, all the public knows is that the project was put on hold for the not terribly reliable sources, claiming a vague statement of labor disputes being the initial catalyst for the stop. Usually with these types of projects, it all comes down to money. The original estimation for the tower itself was $1.2 billion, but that was almost certainly going to rise along with the tower, since the Burj Khalifa cost $1.5 billion. Now they claim this low number due to cheaper labor. But the reality is, we live in a more expensive world right now. This is arguably a more difficult project to pull off, so it's likely the construction was going to balloon well over that initial target. That's probably going to remain true for the city around it, as the original $20 billion price tag is also likely an underestimation. A lot of skepticism, doubts only grew as the project slowed to a crawl, and the unfinished tower was left abandoned. Social media aren't much help on answering that question, as the JEC website seemingly hasn't been updated since 2015, 3 years before any new investment had been pumped back into the project, and that was only in the form of some small roads. The structure has been sitting there abandoned, with little to no work on it, and really the longer it sits there, the more repair work is going to be needed to get it back up to where they left it. All developers are still looking down the barrel of billions of dollars to get the project moving forward again, and that's all for a project that's just more about vanity than actual economics. Issue of this tower is a national embarrassment and a testament to the many parties' failure to try and construct it. After all, that's basically the whole reason why this was being built to begin with. Even if they did start now though, the whole reason for building the structure to take the world record might not even be true by their opening dates, with several other countries spending billions of dollars to try and get their own record. Many of them getting awfully close to the still unknown height of the Jeddah Tower. Saudi Arabia as a whole seems to have also just forgotten about this tower, marketing other mega ridiculous pipe dream project objects that will never happen, like the Octagon City or the Mirror Line. In the end, only time will tell what will really happen to this bizarre abandoned tower. Do you think the tower will ever be completed? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.